Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy, Bro Cobra, and this chick is about to dome someone, no scope, 360, pretty much MLG, like we did the set review. Booyah! The green set color is pretty intense. Let me just tell you, there's a lot of cards going on here, so it is taking a little bit longer, but we're doing the same style, A+ through F-. Stay tuned, learn a lot, leave the discussion down below.
Alright, on to green!
Hey look, our first green F.
So mean. He's like a koala bear.
He's cute. He's like a cute little sloth thing, but he's a bad card. Don't put this card in your deck, people. Every time my opponent plays this card, I'm just so happy. It's like they're mulliganed.
I gave it an F+. I think that, like, if you're really in dire straits for, like, a creature, like, this is probably better than average, just because it does block all of the 2 or less X's, and there's, like, a few in, like, the more aggressive decks.
An F+ is still an F.
Yeah, no, it is.
To me, an F+ is, like...
It is the best out of the
Maybe
worst.
you play it 2% of the time.
This is the best out of the worst.
Like, maybe you play it 2% of the time. But
F's are less than
more
1%.
often than not,
F+ is like
your
1%.
win percentage will be higher if you just never put this in your deck.
Here.
F.
F. You can block Sorin. That's... yeah. Giant growth. So good. Always good.
Always fine. I give Giant Growth a C-.
Fine, good.
I don't really think this is a format you want that many combat tricks in, although this
You
is
only
one
want
of the
one.
better ones. Like, it's definitely better than Samet Sprint and some of the other combat tricks, but I think I like it a little bit less than like the combat tricks leave a +1/+1 counter behind, because you can proliferate that. The first +1/+1 counter is very valuable in a set with all this proliferate at common.
Yeah. I put it a little bit higher at a C because I think it's probably, if not the best, one of the best pump spells.
Maybe it's C.
But like,
So far, I've put like one in almost every green deck, except for like 5-color green.
yeah, but like, as far as pump spell goes, this is like one of the best ones. And like, I don't even think the +2/+0 and Indestructible is that great.
No, I don't
Like
that
this
one
one's
either.
1 mana. This
We didn't
one's
like
like
that card.
clean, easy to cast, like super, like, I don't know. If you need a pump spell, I would choose this over basically any other one.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the better pump spells.
I'd be
but,
okay
like,
with it.
You can't. I mean, you can't really rate combat tricks that high anyway.
No, and like I might put it at a C, but more than 2 is, or more than 1 is pretty.
Yeah, it has a lot.
know.
I think it has diminishing returns for sure.
Did you say C-?
I said C-.
Okay, C-.
I'll usually play the first one, but I don't really want to play anymore after that.
Ditto. Bond of Flourishing. Look at the top 3. You may reveal a permanent card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. You gain 3 life. Green and 1.
I actually really like this card. It's like the perfect card for green. I gave it a C+ because like it gains you life, so you're not really falling too far behind if you're casting this, and it helps you find your good creatures or planeswalkers. It's any permanent.
Gotcha.
I think this is exactly what green wants to be doing.
I put it as a C-. I could probably bump it up to a C, but I only put it as a C- because it is a little bit more situational than what you'd want it to be. The 3 life, I'm just going to put it as C. The 3 life is pretty relevant a lot of the time, and the only thing that's like the downside to it is that like you have to play more permanents than like instants and sorceries in your deck. So like, I don't know, I just feel with like the lower creature count and the increase in the spells that you play is a little bit problematic in playing this card, but you do have planeswalkers in the deck, so there is a pretty good upside to it.
I think it's almost like Green Ponder Game 3.
It is very close to that.
Yeah,
Dr. Reaper
I like
13! Thanks for the host, brother. Much appreciated.
So C plus for Bond of Flourishing. You gave it a C. I gave it a C plus.
Yeah, C for me.
Okay.
Next one, Forced Landing. This is just
this
better
is a
than
sideboard
Plumbing.
card.
Very much sideboard.
It's the best answer to Capnet.
Yeah.
I don't
Is
think
that
I don't think you
countering it,
main
or-
deck this card. I think this is a sideboard B.
Sideboard always, but like
It'll be a B when you sideboard it in.
I don't know. I'm at D plus for this. Like you can bring it in the sideboard, but I don't know.
It's a great card out of the sideboard. Like when you're bringing it in, it's gonna be a B, right?
But how many flyers do they need to have for you to like? I don't know. I guess if you just don't have any answers
Like
to Kefnet, then
3
you need it.
or more flyers. I don't know. If I have Capnet, I'm bringing it in like basically every time, unless that's the only flying creature I've seen out of them.
Even if it's the only one, I kind of do like having an answer to Kefnet, but
Yeah, I mean, I still probably bring it in, unless the card that I'm cutting is just a really good card. Like my deck's. If I'm cutting anything, if I'm cutting a filler card, I'm probably always bringing it in against Capnet.
it's probably better than your worst card in your deck after sideboard
Mm-hmm.
when you need it.
I think you'll sideboard that card in a lot, and you'll be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, putting it on the bottom of the library is like really important.
Yeah, they can't bring it back from the graveyard. There's a lot of ways to do that.
What'd you say?
I said sideboard B.
Sideboard B. Crotch Wrangler.
Oh my God,
Best
Alex.
buddies.
How old are you?
I
You're 12?
am 12.
You're 12.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Glad we established that.
Being 12 is awesome. You can do whatever you want. Crotch Wrangler. I gave him a conditional D.
Wow.
But he could be bumped up to a C. I think this format doesn't have a ton of 4-power creatures. A lot of the time you're just pumping up your guys and giving them +1/+1 counters anyway.
You really only need... Honestly, if you can get one counter on this guy and start proliferating him, he's great.
Yeah, but he's the next one to start, and it's just like...
Yeah.
I don't know. We've already established that X1s
Have
are
you
pretty
played
bad.
Crunch Wrangler on 2 and then play Bloom Hulk on 4? It's kind of really good.
No. But that's
They're both
2 out of,
commons.
that's 2 out of your 48.
Those are both commons, and I think you probably play both of those cards in green every single time. But we'll get to Bloom Hulk. I think Crunch Wrangler is a C minus because I think maybe it's just a C. Maybe just every green deck wants these.
Nope, they
your,
do not.
Your green 2-drop.
I don't think you do. If you're like green-black, you might not have any 4-power creatures, and you might just be amassing and then like
maybe
proliferating.
I think green. I mean, a lot of people think green black is like a multicolored deck where you're just like splashing all the bombs that you can.
Like how many
so
how
maybe
many
not
power
in
4
green
creatures
black.
do you need?
I think you definitely want Crunch Wrangler in green red. That's probably where
Yeah,
it's at its
definitely.
best.
That's fine.
And it's also it's also good in green white. You just need that first counter, and then you can start proliferating it. Green blue is also a proliferate deck.
But you want to be in
So I
green
think you
red,
still
blue.
play the Crunch Wrangler in green blue. But I think blue is like a support color in green blue, probably. What's the other? Green black is the only
White?
deck that you probably don't play the Crunch Wrangler. So I think it's closer to C than a C minus. I'm gonna go C on Crunch Wrangler. It could be a C minus if you don't know how to stack your triggers with Bloom Hulk, but pro tip, chat: stack the Crunch Wrangler trigger so it resolves first, like, and then proliferate, and then you get to make it a 4/3.
If you go green-blue, you're gonna have a bad time. There's one blue creature with power 4 or greater.
That's why I said blue's like a support color in that deck.
Yeah, but you don't play him. Like if you're strapped for like green creatures, then yeah. But like You play this with red. Like, this is perfect in red.
Yeah, that's exactly the card.
Like, you want like 2 or 3 of these guys in green red.
Yeah, it's great in green red. It's like a C plus in green.
That's
red.
why I'm saying it's conditional. Like, I can see it being up to a C, but I think more often than not,
it's still C
you don't
plus
want it.
in like green white, and I think green blue wants it too. I think the only deck that might not want it is green black. That's my opinion.
I think green black and green blue are the 2 that you don't want it in. Like, green white, green red are like where it's at. That's where you want it, because there's like creatures to be able to facilitate its ability, and like if you put a +1/+1 counter and then just proliferate it, you can say that about any creature.
So what'd you say? What was the grade you gave it?
I gave it overall a D, but then a C if you are playing like green red or more
Sounds
than
like you should. I guess sounds like you're C minus then, on average. Like as a first pick. I'm not. I guess I'm
D plus on.
I'm never happy to first pick this card. But
I don't want to ever first.
I still
pick
think
this
it's
card.
like a C.
I don't want to pick this card first.
Unless I'm already in green red, then I'm
I feel
never
like
gonna be
this
happy
is like
first
a
picking
mid-pack
it.
pick.
It is, but that's what C's are.
I think I would take Arlen's Wolf before I take this guy.
But this is a 2-drop. I think you're still undervaluing 2-drops.
I could be, but I feel like whenever I have this guy in my pool,
One of the better green 2-drops. Well, I guess green has some pretty good 2-drops.
This is like by far one of the best. But
That's an uncommon though. I mean, I don't think it's as good as Pollen Bright Druid. I think Pollen Bright Druid is exactly what green wants on too.
I like Snare Spiner more than that.
You like Snare Spinner more than Crunch Wrangler?
I think he's awesome.
What decks are you happy to play Snare Spinner in? Green black.
If you're proliferating at the same rate, he's better.
But he doesn't. He needs a lot of help to get a counter. Like you need to specifically put a counter on him. You just need to play a fatty for him to get a counter.
Yeah, so your X1 needs to survive.
Okay, think about
this
common curve in red green, Alex. Crunch Wrangler.
Red green. This guy's a B minus or B.
Into Crunch.
That's what I'm saying.
Into Bloomhulk. They are now dead.
They have.
You are now attacking them for 9, 5 power of which has trample on turn 4.
Okay, now do that in green blue or green black.
You can't go in green
exactly.
blue. Because I'm pretty sure the Crunch is the only 4 power 3-drop.
Probably. I don't want to take the time to look. I think there's too much time spent on this card.
The Wranglers get a lot better when you have the Crunches.
If you're playing green red, pick up 3 or 4. Like, this guy's amazing.
Pick up 4 of these and 4 Crunches and
go to town.
Just crunch them.
Crunch them. But like anywhere else, I feel like he's underwhelming.
C or C minus.
C or D plus. I'm gonna say D plus. That's as far up as
then on average you'd be a C minus, right? Just give it a C minus.
Fuck, fine.
Alright.
Anyway.
This card is gonna be easier to
Triumph.
talk about.
F.
Yeah, F for this is Triumph.
Alright.
You're playing this, you already have 2 forests. Why do you need 2 more?
Hoorah!
Paradise Druid.
Paradise Druid. I might be undervaluing it, but I only gave it a C plus.
I think you are undervaluing it.
Okay, I'm willing to change it.
I think this card is a B minus. I think this is exactly what green wants to be doing on turn 2.
Would you be happy with 3 in your green deck?
I would be thrilled with 3 in my green deck.
I'm gonna say it's a B.
If I had 3, I would just start splashing whatever I want.
So
you're going all the way up to B? Wow.
I'm gonna go up to B.
I'm staying on B minus.
I think there's 2...
I'm staying on B minus. I'm not taking this card over Obnix's Cruelty. Pack 1, pick 1. And I don't think it's close. So that's why I think B minus instead of B.
Are we just like... Alright.
It's not premium removal and it's not a bomb, so I don't think it gets in the higher Bs, but that's why I think B minus.
I can move down to B minus, but I feel like with the limited amount of ways to be able to fix your colors, like this is one of the premium things. Having it hexproof as well means that you can continuously put counters on it and proliferate until you're ready to attack with it. It is an X1, so that's kind of worrisome, but it has hexproof. Like, you just like pump it up and you leave it alone.
It
and
only
then
has
can't attack
hexproof
you.
as long as you're not using it for anything.
Yeah, so then you don't.
Oh,
Like, if that's the route that you need to go.
I guess we're in agreement. B- for Paradise
B minus.
Fallen Bright Druid.
Fallen Bright Druid. More druids.
The other good Druid 2-drop.
The other white druid.
Alright. I think Fallen Bright Druid is
It's pretty good.
quite good. Like, this is like a much better Iron Shell Beetle. Having the option to proliferate instead of just getting one counter is really good. Especially in green-white and green-blue, which is all about proliferate. This card is your premium 2-drop in your proliferate deck. Just bar none. C+ for this card.
C+. Plus.
Alright, well,
That's what I got. I think this card's amazing.
it was very easy.
Can I use amazing now?
You can use amazing.
Awesome?
But awesome is greater than amazing.
What was amazing? I forget. Was that C or?
I think so.
I don't know. This card's awesome. Like, I think every green deck just wants it.
Yeah.
Potentially 2. Like, when we're like strapped, like, I don't know.
I mean,
this card's
the
just
floor on this card is it's Grizzly Bears with a counter, so you can proliferate it later. So, like, they get better in multiples.
I think I would pick this 100% of the time over this guy. I would pick this card over this guy almost every single time.
Well, yeah. I pick Paradise Druid over both of these cards, like, every single time.
That too.
Pollen Bright Druid, I think I pick over Crunch Wrangler, except maybe in, like, the red-green crunches.
Yeah, but then we're going to go with, like, your scenario. Pack one, pick one. Which one do you choose?
Oh, back one, pick one. I choose Druid over
Exactly.
Crunch Wrangler every time. That's why Pollen Bright Druid is a C+, and Crunch Wrangler is a C. Alright, next card is Return to Nature.
Return to back to
Can we just call
nature.
this a sideboard card and move on?
Side quarterback.
I'm going to say sideboard B-.
I'm gonna say sideboard D+. The only time that you're gonna use this most likely is just to get a card out of the graveyard, and like even then you're not drawing a card.
You're not
doing anything.
sideboarding this card in to exile a card from the graveyard. You're sideboarding a card in because they have an artifact or enchantment that's really good.
It deals with gods.
No, it doesn't.
They trigger in the graveyard, right?
No. If you activate
Dies
that
or-
ability, it's an instead.
You may put it into its owner's library whenever it dies, so it needs to go to the graveyard.
But doesn't it say instead?
No. You may put it into its owner's library, third from the top.
Oh, I guess you can 2-for-1 yourself to exile the god.
But this is like a huge... I don't know.
To exile the god from the graveyard. I think you're only boarding this card in when it's killing an artifact or enchantment that's really good. Probably just an enchantment that's really good, and there aren't really that many besides Dreadhorde Invasion I can think of that are really good.
So I should probably put it at D, but I put it at D+. Like I did Forced Landing. It's a sideboard card.
It's definitely a sideboard only card, and I think it's probably like a C+ when you're boarding it in because the targets aren't that great for it.
And there's not that many.
Yeah, exactly.
Artifact is ignorable.
It's basically ignorable.
Snare Spinner.
Are there any art? I'm gonna look at the artifacts real quick. See if there's anything that I would, any artifact that I would actually bring this in to destroy. I mean, there's Bolas's Citadel. I'd bring that in. Just for
The
that.
6-mana one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other artifacts are. Well, we'll get to the artifacts.
Snare Spinner. I said it's a C-. I could probably... I really wanted to put it up to a C.
I said it was C- too.
This card is...
Just
I think
because
all green decks just want it.
It's
Like,
just because it blocks flying creatures.
and it
it
gets,
protects
like,
your
stronger.
planeswalkers. It's good against flyers. Not very good at attacking.
I've missed this effect.
C-.
Steady aim. Untap target creature gets +1/+4 and reach until the end of turn for 2 mana.
This is like the worst trick in this set.
The worst trick. I said D going to F.
I think this is
Super
actually a sideboard card. I don't think you really want to play this card in your main deck. It's definitely a worse sideboard card than Force Landing, so I think it's a sideboard C-. I can see myself bringing it in against flyers when I don't have enough Force Landings.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I think I want to play this card.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any like really good cards that you want to be like tapping to do something, but
probably not.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's D to F for me because it's like you almost never want to bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. D or
Don't
F.
put that card in your main deck.
No.
Bring it in out of sideboard sometimes.
Sweet.
Now this one,
Vivian's bow.
this one I'm interested to see what you graded this card.
Ha ha ha. Well, depending on the debate, I originally said C+. I could see it as a B- just because it is so... It's potentially so powerful. It turns whatever card you want in your hand, as long as you have enough mana, to put a creature onto the battlefield. And, like, as long as you have good enough creatures to be able to go and get, then it makes this card even better. And so, like, if you have a deck full of, like, mediocre creatures, it's probably more towards, like, a C than a C+.
Mm-hmm.
But just having the ability to discard a card and then to go through your deck, find a creature, and for it to be an artifact that most people just, like, don't have removal for, I can see it going up to a B-, but...
Oh, found another artifact you might bring that card in for. Besides Bolas' Citadel. I'm only bringing in for legendary artifacts, apparently.
Yeah, right.
This card looks really good, but I think once I saw it played, I liked it a lot less. I think originally I gave this card like an A, because I thought your opponent would just like never want to attack into this and open mana. And I agree that this card gets really good when you have a lot of stuff to do at instant speed. So you just like leave it up and your opponent like maybe doesn't attack into it. But I think in practice,
we should have been doing this the entire time. My bad.
Oh,
YouTube
wow.
chat.
That's way better.
All right.
But,
I figured out Magic Arena. It doesn't work yet.
Oh. Okay.
It's so sad.
Never mind. All right. Yeah, this is better. This is so much better. It's harder to show the other cards, but it makes this one very prominent. But that's the one we're talking about. So I originally thought this card was an A, but like in practice, I think it's more like a build around. Like you need to have a lot of creatures in your deck, because if you don't, you might miss, and if you miss, that's really bad for you.
You just discarded a card. You gave yourself like, that's the other thing. Like, I definitely didn't mention it, but if you just whiff on it...
So I think on average this card is like a B-. I think it could get better if you...
I want to say C+.
I think it can be a B- if you have like a lot of creatures in your deck and somehow still a lot of stuff you can do at instant speed besides this.
We might have to disagree a little bit, but I think a C+ is a little bit better representation of it, just because like you need to have those creatures in your deck. If you don't, then
yeah, I think it is closer to C+, because I think about other B- that I've rated, like Jaya's Greeting. I'm never taking this over Jaya's Greeting unless I'm already red and not close to green.
I mean, if you're picking this over Jaya's Greeting pack 1, like, you better be picking some pretty good creatures coming up.
I'm gonna go to I'll go to C+ for Vivian's Bow. The card's not impressed me as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be so much better than it has been. Arlen's Wolf. Yeah, this is so much better. All right, time to redo the entire thing. All right, next YouTube.
We're not doing that, but you can change the visuals in the video. You
oh
can
my
just
god!
splice that in instead.
Let's do that going from now on.
It'll just be a lot of extra work for you.
Oh,
that's
there
all.
we go. We won't get to see it until like next Saturday. Oh my god, because then I would need to like kind of. Yeah, that wouldn't work. Arlen's Wolf. I might be rating this a little bit too high, but I think like if you put a +1/+1 counter on it, you're just making this card almost impenetrable. I put down C- or D+. I think almost every green deck wants it.
I think
But
it's definitely C range. I think it's more
C?
like a C. Like, I think
just
this
because
is
it has that evasion?
Yeah, that evasion is pretty good. Like it means it
Okay.
always like trades up. Doesn't get blocked by like walls or creatures with like high toughness that don't cost a lot of mana. It could attack planeswalkers pretty well.
I'll go to C. The evasion
I think it's like a
doesn't
C.
push it.
It's kind of the 3-drop you want in green, unless you're crunching. Once you have Crunch Wranglers, then you want crunches probably.
But it doesn't power up Crunch Wrangler.
No, it doesn't.
See?
That's why I said unless you're crunching. Unless you're playing the crunch theme deck.
Crunch theme. Band together. This card is... Yep, it's awesome! Every deck that's green wants it. B+.
B+.
This card's insane. I think this card is so good.
I
Like,
think
yeah,
this
you
is,
have to have creatures
I
on
think
your
this
board.
card is a B-.
B-.
Yes. You can't rate it a B+. You're not taking this card over Obnixlus's Cruelty, pack 1, pick 1.
It is if I want to be green.
If you're forcing green?
Fine, I'll go to B-.
Okay. B- for Band Together. It's like a fight spell, except it's a punch... Well, it's like a punch spell. Like, they don't get to fight back, but you still need to have 2 creatures that add up. And you need 2 creatures that have at least as much power as that creature... As that creature's toughness if you want to kill it through
But you have
a kill
2
spell.
creatures.
I fizzled this card with 1 removal spell. If you have the best creature on the battlefield...
Then it's a 1-for-1. Like, but it's...
It's not.
It is the best removal spell in green.
It is the best removal spell in green.
It's the
green
only
removal
one.
spells are usually not very good, but this one is pretty good.
Maybe that's why I rated it so high.
But it's
like, I'm
not-
like, finally, Jesus.
I don't think it's as good as Cruelty. I don't think it's as good as...
Yeah, but if you're in green, like, this has to be up there.
Yeah, but
Like,
you're not first picking this over the other premium removal spells.
well, yeah, but then, like, that's kind of a different standpoint than Finale of Promise in red.
No, I think we...
Like, you have to be playing other
I think we
colors.
agree. It's a B-.
Fine.
B- for Band
Pick it up.
Together.
It's amazing.
If that card's amazing, what is Obnix's Cruelty? Incredible? Insane? Okay.
It's
Sure.
Isn't it the best? It's one of the best. It has to be first or second best black spell. Black removal.
It is.
It doesn't have any
It's
conditions.
the best
It's
common
3
removal,
mana.
for sure.
It's common.
Yeah.
And it exiles.
It's a B. Solid B.
Some streamers are playing it in their constructed decks.
In Standard?
Noxious, yeah.
Wow.
He's like I'm kind of like
I guess
iffy,
the
but
Exile is
Exile's
really
so good.
relevant then.
3 mana is really tough though.
It's not better
Courage.
than Mortify, is it? Can't be better than Mortify. I don't know, I guess it depends what
Right now,
deck you're playing it in. Like in Grixis? Is that what he's playing in?
-5. It kills all indestructibles. It doesn't kill enchantments, but I don't know how many people are playing with like a bunch of enchantments.
I don't know. I
Anyway,
don't know Constructed as well as you do.
it's splashable.
I haven't played a single game of Constructed since War of the Spark.
Courage in Crisis. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then proliferate. So put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature.
That's the floor of this card, yes. Unless you
But-
screw up the proliferate. Like you deselect your card on Arena. Or just don't forget about it in paper. I don't really like this card.
I think it's pretty good.
I think this card is
We
pretty
didn't rate it high.
close to a +2/+2 aura, unless you're like really doing. If you have Dreadhorde Arcanist, it gets a lot better. So then you're just like putting 2 counters on Arcanist, and you can attack and flash it back, and then it's 5/7. And 5/7 trample is pretty good on turn 3. So it's good with that card, and it's good if you have a lot of counters to proliferate. But if you don't, like, it's kind of like an aura.
Yeah, but it gives you the counter.
And
like,
I don't want to play an aura that's +2/+2. That's
like if I had to pick up a Courage in my green draft and like pack 2 the rare crap, and I see like a Crunch Wrangler, I might pick it. I might pick the Crunch Wrangler this time. Yeah. I don't know. I think like the floor of just +2/+2 is like, okay, fine. It's like a bad stealth mission.
That's not a good floor.
But like if you're playing green, you're playing +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, but like even in your best proliferate decks, what are you playing? Like maybe 1 of these, maybe 2 if you.
No more than 1.
Yeah, I think you.
I mean, I gave it a D+. Like, I'm trying to protect it, but
you're trying to protect it a lot. I only gave this a D, but I don't think you play it all the time, and I don't think you want to play more than 1.
It's a sorcery target for your red finale. Evolution Sage.
Now this is a proliferate payoff.
This is sweet.
This is the card that you want in your proliferate decks. This card, I think there's enough proliferate that just being able to proliferate every turn with the land drop is just amazing. Just because there's enough stuff to proliferate. Yeah, I gave this card a B. I think this card in the right deck is just a bomb.
Yes, but it doesn't put counters on anything.
No, it doesn't. But I think there's
At
enough.
least Courage does.
Yeah.
It doesn't have. So like, I put it as a C+ or B-.
If you have nothing in your deck that you can proliferate, somehow, this card is a D. If you have even just a little bit of stuff that you proliferate, this card gets out of control really fast and takes over the game.
I will definitely agree.
That's why I gave this card a B.
I can't.
You're going to put this in your proliferate deck, and it's going to be like the best card in your deck.
But then it has to be like more of a build around then. Like if you're not playing creatures with +1/+1 counters, it's like just giving loyalty to your planeswalkers, which is good. Don't get me wrong. It makes your
even
uncommon planeswalkers actually better and playable.
Green black, which is probably the least proliferate friendly green color.
You have a mass.
You can proliferate your army. This card's good. This card's really good.
I don't think it's better than a B- though. Like I'll play 2, but I can't play 3 or more. I might only play 1. Like if I'm playing green white and I got a Johnny, like that's snap going in. If I get the Pledge of Unity that gives a +1/+1 counter for each of your creatures, then I could play 2, but I don't want to go up to 3. I don't think it's a super bomb. Like it's not. It's gonna help you win, but you need to have like a board state in order for it to become better. And you always need a land. I mean, I guess if you're not drawing lands, then you're doing good. There's no way to like make it go crazy outside of ultimating this, right?
There's lots of ways to make it go crazy. There's tons of stuff with counters in this set, and like everything that green wants to be doing involves counters, I think.
Well, yeah, but like playing more than 1 land a turn?
Oh, no, there's no way to play more than 1 land a turn.
Yes, there is. The Grazer.
We're not. No. Grazer is an F. Don't you remember?
Yeah, but like, let's say you have 4 Evolution Sages. 4 of them.
No, I'm still not playing Grazer.
Never mind. B-, B. Just B, or did you say B?
I said B.
Okay. I don't want to go higher than a B+, because I don't think... I think every green deck wants minimum 1, but I don't... It's kind of like Bow for me. Like, you need to have the cards to enable it to make it broken. And, like, on average, I think it's just going to be a B-, but...
I don't think it needs that much help. I think there's enough stuff at common You'll draft around it a little bit, and that's all you really need. You really only need like 1 or 2 things to start proliferating, and this card's great.
This card's great. Pick it up. John Yang Wildcrafter. 3 mana. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has add 1 mana of any color. -1. He starts at 3, but -1 is a put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This card's amazing with Evolutionary Sage.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
My opponent played Sage into Jiang Yangu at the pre-release, and I would have died. Yeah, I would have died if I didn't have the switcheroo to steal that Evolution Sage. Which is what I did do. But if I didn't, like, you just have a removal spell for one of those immediately, or you're just going to die really fast.
I'm going to over-evaluate it, but I think it enables so many different decks, and I think it helps with your mana colors. I gave it a B+. I don't think it's like a bomb that's going to help you win the game, but I think it's good enough for you to...
B+.
I think it's going to be good enough for you to facilitate your game plan and for you to, ramp up even faster than your opponent. With Evolutionary Sage, it becomes like almost insane. Like your creatures just get big. It enables proliferate and +1/+1 counter decks. I think that it's like a cornerstone. Like having 2 or 3 of these guys in your deck would be amazing. Especially if you have like 1 or 2.
I agree that it's a B, but I think it's on the lower side of a B. Because it's a B-. I think it's a B- because it doesn't really protect itself. Like, if that card's really important to your deck, your opponent will try and find a way to kill it, and then... But, I mean, yeah, it's really good with it's really good with Sage. It's really good with Proliferate in general, but it's kind of fragile. That's why I think I can only give it a B-.
Okay. I'll go down to a B. I don't want to go to a B- because in the green-red deck, it's just crazy good, right? Like, you play your Crunch, Wrangler, then you play Crunch, and then you just keep plussing them. And then if you really need to, you can, like, play a new creature, then plus that.
I think it's best in green-white deck. It can be pretty good in red-green or green-blue. Probably it's worse than green-black.
I don't know. Whenever I'm playing a green deck, I just always want this card. And, like, more often than not, I don't get it. And it's kind of sad. Sad time.
I still think it's a B-. Like, I don't... If it had more of an effect in the late game... Like, it's a really good card on turn 3. It's always going to be good on turn 3, unless you just have no creatures that you play before that.
Same can be said about
but otherwise it's pretty... No.
Like, late game, you top deck it, like...
If you have an Evolutionary Sage, you keep your lands that you don't need in your hand. You just play the Sage, play a land, proliferate.
Yeah, but you need stuff on the board to proliferate.
I
like,
guess.
You need a creature for Jin Yang to be good.
Yeah. That's why he's a B-. You need a creature for him to be good. And you need a creature to come down before he does for him to be good. That's why I think he's a B-. He doesn't protect himself. He needs a creature to be good, and he's a bad top deck.
Okay. I evaluate him a little bit higher just because he does enable what a lot of the decks are doing, and like, I don't know. I think he adds to like every deck. Like, even in blue-green, he's still like pretty freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just put a +1/+1 counter on your Augur Bolas or something, and then now he's a mana producer.
Yeah, I agree. He's really good in early game. The only gripes I really have about him is he needs a creature. You need to have a creature on the board before you play him for him to be like at his best, and you need him to be come down in the early game to be at his best.
I agree.
So that's why I think he's B-. He just doesn't He's just not good in the late game.
So pack one, pick
without
one.
a creature.
Do you pick Jen Yang or Evolutionary Sage?
I picked Sage. I think it has higher upside.
Okay, that's where we might disagree then, because I'd pick Jen Yang. I think that he facilitates a lot more than Evolutionary Sage, just as a...
I mean, it's possible he might be better in the average green deck than the Sage, but I think the Sage has a much higher ceiling.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that.
And pack one, pick one, and I'm trying to draft for the most power. So that's why I would take Sage over it. But I think we're pretty close to agreement. You think he's like a B, and I think he's a B minus. But we both think he's a good card.
Very good. Crawl Stinger!
Crawl Stinger!
2/2 Death Touch for 3.
I think that this card is a C minus.
C minus! Yay!
I think he's
That was
pretty...
easy.
He's solid, but I don't think you always want to play him in your green decks because there's a lot of 3-drops. And he's not always doing what your green decks want to be doing. Like, he doesn't come with a counter. He doesn't have 4 power or more, so you probably cut him for crunches in your red-green deck.
Oh, and your red-green deck for sure.
I think this
If
card's
you're,
probably
like,
at its
late-
best in green-black.
Very much so.
Green-black just wants to block and trade.
Any later mid-range
Or
decks
they want to
probably
be
want him too?
ramping, but if they're not ramping, they probably just want to play a creature that will trade with anything. So C minus for Crawl Stinger. What's next?
So wait, is C... Do you consider C to have at least one in every green deck?
No.
C minus can do
I
that?
think C plus is more like one in every green deck. C minus is like...
I might put this on
I
C+.
don't really want to
then.
put more than one.
In what green deck do you not want this? It's the 2/2 Death Touch.
I think you probably don't want it in green-white or green-red. Like, I think you have better creatures to play. Like, in green-red, you play your crunches, and green-white, you play stuff that gets counters. I think it could be okay in green-blue if green-blue's not... I don't think green-blue's as much about proliferate as green-white. I think he's probably at his best in green-black, because I think that's probably the most grindy of the green color combos. You agree with C minus, right?
Yeah, I did, but I feel like this is still like always going in my green deck. Because like even in green-red, it just trades with whatever you want.
I don't know. I've found myself cutting it enough to make it a C minus. Like, I think there's better things you could be doing for 3 mana in green in
Okay.
your green decks. Next card,
Fair.
New Horizons. What did you rate this card, Alex? I'm still trying to find it. Oh, there it is.
I think there's a lot of archetypes for green. I put it as a D.
So did I, actually.
If you're doing a ramping deck, then it's probably closer to C minus to a C, just because it does fix your mana. It also pumps like one of your creatures on.
I think it's kind of... I don't think... I don't think you play this in a 2-color deck.
You're not required to.
I don't think you want to play this in a 2-color deck. If you have tons of proliferate and no way to get it going, then maybe, but...
Do you play this with...
You play this
Any kind of finale?
in your decks with a splash, and if you have enough of these, you can start splashing double off-color cards.
Do you play this in like your finale deck, like Green X Finale?
Probably.
Okay.
That's why I think it's a D. I think it because it doesn't go in most green decks, but
Conditional.
there are green decks that definitely want it.
Vivian! Card advantage!
I like Vivian. I like Vivian enough to give her a B.
I gave her B plus.
Wow, you like her even more than I do.
I would have 2 if I wanted to. Green's mostly just creatures, and like if you're able to play them at flash,
Yeah, that's like her best. Her best ability is the flash ability.
by far. And like you do get some card advantage, but it's only the top 3, which is better for your 40 card deck.
Yeah,
but...
notably, you look at the top 3 and you exile one of them face down, so your opponent doesn't know about it, but they know you have an exiled card. If that card's a creature,
you sneeze.
I didn't sneeze. If that card's a creature,
yours is not a creature.
You can flash it in, but you could still exile like a land or a random creature card that you don't want to draw later in the game, and
make them sweat.
Think it's a creature. Make them think about it being a creature and how bad for them it is if it is a creature. So because that's a -2, she's not really great for card advantage, but because I don't know, I think she has enough. Because of the flash ability, I think she has enough impact on the board that she's great, and you want to play her.
What is it?
And her +1
reach and vigilance
does protect her pretty well. Like giving reach and vigilance to a creature protects her pretty well.
Oh, and vigilance?
Reach and vigilance.
It's and?
Yeah, it's and.
Oh, I thought it was or.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm staying at B+. I'm sorry. I don't care what you... Like, this card is... like, it gives you potential card advantage or gets you to your, like, other bombs that you need to get. And, like... I don't know. 3 mana is just, like, really early.
Maybe she is a B+.
And, like, reach and...
Like, I've played with her, and she's always been great for me.
I would definitely pick this over Jen Yang. Actually, if we're comparing those two, then I can see Jian Yang at B-.
Well, she's definitely better than Jiang Yang.
Way better.
She's way better than him. That's why she's higher rarity at the same mana cost. Yeah, B+ for Vivian. I don't think she's always going to be a B+. That's why I would do like more of an average it would be. You really do need to have like a pretty good amount of creatures to make her -2 really good.
So probably more in like the red-green deck.
You want to play her with like
green-white,
16 or 17 or more creatures.
Probably not green-black because you might be amassing or you might have too much removal.
Yeah.
But green-white, green-red is good. Blue might not have enough creatures for you. Yeah. Awesome.
But she's still great. B+ for Vivian.
Vivian's
of the
Grizzly.
Wilds. Vivian's Grizzly.
Rawr.
Why is this? This bear is a 2/3. What's going on, Alex?
Oh, my preconceived notion.
What has this world come to? When bears can be 2/3s.
I don't understand. I gave it a C-. Only because you need to have your creatures or planeswalkers in your deck. So this would be great in a Vivian deck.
I agree with C-.
But like in your average,
this is one
deck,
of the actual. There actually are not very good mana sinks in this set, and this is actually one of the better ones somehow. And a 2/3 for 3 has kind of been solid stats. This card can get you some pretty good card advantage late in the game, and you can't really ask for much more out of your 3-drop creature at common.
Yeah. Blake Twee, thanks for the host, brother. Much love, much appreciation.
Thank you, Blake. All right, so C-. We're in agreement for Vivian's Grizzly.
Yeah.
It gets better in Sealed just because mana sinks are so important. Oh look, it's Bloom Hulk.
Bloom Hulk. This guy is amazing.
This guy is one of the best green commons for sure.
I really debated on pushing him up to a B, but I have to put him back down at a B-. I think you always want 1, 2, potentially 3 of these guys. 4 mana, 4/4, and then he proliferates.
Yeah, this card just does whatever green wants to do. He even has 4 power, so he's good in the Crunch deck.
Crunch!
He's good with Crunch Wrangler. Don't forget.
He should
always
be
put the counter on the Crunch Wrangler before you proliferate.
This guy should be renamed Crunch Hulk.
I think Bloom Hulk is a C+.
C+? I can't push you up to B-.
I don't think it's a B-.
He's so good. What green deck doesn't want him?
I just don't think he's a B minus
He proliferates.
because he's
Everything.
he's not as good as Band Together. Although
Band Together?
in certain decks he might be better.
He's better. He's a creature. Band Together, you've smoked people that played Band Together. Have you smoked people that
I think
played...
the best green common is between Band Together and Bloomhulk, and I'm not really sure
think
which
it's
one's
Bloomhulk.
better yet. I'll have to do more drafts, but
Blue-green, you don't have a lot of creatures, right?
I
Green-red.
don't know what blue-green is.
Okay,
I
green...
think it's a proliferate deck, but I'm not sure.
Green-red Band Together might be better.
I haven't
It's
played
probably
with or
better.
against a blue-green deck yet.
Green-black, you'll pick Bloomhulk. Green-white, you'll pick Bloomhulk. Green-blue, you'll probably pick Bloomhulk. And then green-red, you might just pick Band Together.
All right, I'll go to thinking about all the times I've seen Bloomhulk played. I'll go up to B minus. I can't go as high as a B though.
That's fine.
It just always has such a huge impact on the board when it's played.
Victory, chat! Comment below about this victory for Bloomhulk. I mean, Crunch Hulk. Hashtag Crunch Hulk.
Is it Crunch Hulk or
Yeah, Crunch Hulk.
Hulk?
Crunch Hulk.
Crunch Hulk.
I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Hulk Crunch.
Hulk. I like it.
All right. Next up is
Centaur
Centaur
Nurturer.
Nurturer.
Personally, I really like the card. Like getting mana as well as gaining life is pretty sweet. As well as having like a 4-butt. That is awesome. But
I think
here, I
that
just have him
Centaur
as a C-.
Nurturer is going to be good. I agree with C minus. I think this card's going to be good. You're not going to play this in your Bloomhulk decks.
Damn it.
But it'll be good in decks that don't really want Bloomhulk. Like the kind of green decks that want to ramp into big things or they want to stabilize. Probably mostly green-black, although I could see green-white also being a ramp deck sometimes. But when Proliferate's good, you'll play your Bloomhulks over your Nurturers. Otherwise, you'll play your Nurturers when you want to ramp.
Yeah.
And stay alive. So
And this can like help you facilitate like 3-color decks too. So if you have like 1 or 2 Paradise Druids in this, like
then you can
go ahead.
start splashing lots of stuff.
Yeah, dude.
C minus for Centaur Nurturer.
C minus.
Mo-woo.
Mini bomb.
It's Mo-woo.
Mini bomb.
I mean, I guess the joke is, or the thing is, Jang Yeager is really good at Mo-woo, 'cause that's his dog. He makes it into a 5/5. You put like the first counter on this thing, and it gets kind of out of control. Like just being a 5/5 trample vigilance makes it very good, and it's not that hard to put one counter on it. And every time you proliferate it, you get an additional counter.
I remember the first time I Couraged in Crisis Mowu, whatever his name is. I was the happiest kid on the block.
Just a 7/7 trample vigilance creature. It's pretty good. Pretty good.
I gave him a B+. I think this guy's insanely powerful for like... Yeah, for an uncommon dude.
I don't know about that. The kind of cards that we've given a B+ to are just like, this is just not on the same level.
Really?
Yeah.
This guy's like a mini bomb. If you have like proliferate engines going.
Well, yeah. If you do.
Well, you want me to put him down to a B? What do you put him at?
I put him at C+.
C+.
But maybe he's more like
I'd pick him over
B-.
Bloomhulk.
You pick him over Bloomhulk?
Yeah. Like, Bloomhulk facilitates this, but this guy's way better than Bloomhulk.
I think this card needs more help than Bloomhulk to be good, though.
Yeah, not much.
It needs a counter on it. Bloomhulk just doesn't care where the counters are. It just pumps them up.
Yeah, but if there's no counters to begin with, he does nothing. Maybe pluses like planeswalkers, but
a 4/4 is way better than a 3/3 trample vigilance. Like the floor on Bloomhulk is better than Mowu.
I mean, like if you don't have any ways to put +1/+1 counters on him, then he's pretty bad. But like,
yeah, I agree.
As soon as you have like 1 on it, every proliferate spell just puts 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Like,
In that case, I can go up to B minus. But I'm not
all
going
right, I'm
any
okay.
higher than that.
I'm okay with that.
I'm
I
not
think
going
this
any
guy's like
higher
a
than
mini
that
bomb.
because I don't think that picking it. I don't think you ever pick this over cruelty. Cruelty is just gonna be like my bar because it's the best common. And
Which
it's
one's
a B.
cruelty?
Omnixus.
Oh,
is,
Omnixilus?
Omnixilus is cruelty. That's like the bar to beat. If you want to be better than a B, I say B minus for Walu. You can stay at B.
I might pick it over it. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. But if I feel like the draft is going to go better if I go like green X, then I would probably pick this over Omnixilus Cruelty. I think this card can become like a mini bomb and it's like a win con.
Okay, well,
all right,
we agreed. It's pretty close. B or B minus for Mowu. And thank you, Ghost in the Shelly, for the host.
Thanks, sister. Much appreciated. Much love. I like your name, Ghost in the Shelly.
Yeah, I like it too. So the next card is Awakening of V2 Ghazi.
Awakening of V2 Ghazi. Initially, I thought this was a sorcery, and so it got a bit worse for me. But
what? What?
What?
What are you talking about? It's an instant.
Yeah, I know. At first, I thought it was a sorcery, but now it's just like it's pretty good.
Okay.
Since it's a legendary, like the rare chance that you get multiple copies is.
It's a rare though.
Yeah. I think there are some commons and uncommons that I'd pick over this. I think Mowu, Evolutionary Sage.
You picking Mowu over this card?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a 9/9, but I don't know. I think that like
I'm never taking Mowu over this card. I don't think so. I mean, which I gave this card a B minus, but I'm starting to rethink it, especially since you talked me up to Mowu at B minus.
Like instant speed is really awesome, right? But like you won't get to be able to attack with it.
Like if you want to block, if you want to block with it or attack with it at the same turn, it basically costs 6. It doesn't untap the land, but it is a giant 9/9. It can ambush something at 6, or it can like attack. Wait. It doesn't have trample?
No.
It doesn't have trample.
Just haste.
Alright. It can stay at a B minus then. if it had trample, I think it could be a B, but without trample, I think it's just a B minus.
Okay. I'm gonna stay at a C plus just in
But I still think your Mowu's not better than this card.
Then we shall disagree.
Alright.
I don't know. I think Mowu is just like a mini bomb. Like he's
You
just.
think Awakening is a C plus? Well,
I mean, I could put it up to a B minus, but I don't know. I guess B minus is fine. I would pick it over Vivian's Arcbow.
I think it's like barely a B minus.
Yeah.
Like
it like just got there. Like the teacher saw you like trying.
If it had
and then like
trample,
they were like,
it would be an
okay.
easy B minus or B.
Oh, if it had trample, it's a B.
Yeah,
I would say that right away because like 9/9 trample, insane. But like,
well,
I don't know. I treat this like a
does have trample
and vigilance, son.
Wait, is Mowu just like the new Gatebreaker Ram?
Yeah,
maybe it is.
Proliferate becomes like +2/+2 counters. Like,
Well,
I don't know.
Trample Vigilance on a fatty is a pretty hard combination to beat without removal. So, I think I'm going to go down to C plus for Awakening. If it had trample, I think it could be B range. Otherwise, it's too jumpable and it's pretty easy to play around, to be honest. It could be a little bit better if you have more instants in your deck. But if it's like the only instant in your deck, like, you're not really getting any value out of that.
No, it doesn't work with like Bond of Flourishing either.
Nope.
So you could like pass it and then just put it on the bottom. Like Spell Matters, blue green, yeah, fuck, that's probably like a B.
Right.
That would be fine. Challenger Troll, 5 mana. Each creature you control with power 4 or greater can't be blocked by more than one creature. And it's a 6/5.
I like this card.
This guy has great stats.
I like this card more than Mobu.
I do not.
Like a little bit more than Mobu. I think Challenger Troll is a B.
Where is he on the front page?
And
He is.
relevantly, Challenger Troll interacts very favorably with Menace, insofar as if you have a creature with power 4 or greater with Menace and you have Challenger Troll, they don't get to block that creature.
No, they don't.
So if you get your Iron Bully up to 4 power, or if you have Bontu, they're just unblockable. They don't get to block that as long as you have Challenger Troll.
Or your Massacre Girl.
Oh, or Massacre Girl. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I like this deck already.
Um,
Challenger Troll might live through Massacre Girl.
he could.
As long as the board's not too crowded.
Nope. You need 3 creatures and you're okay.
Yeah. I still think it's a B for Challenger Troll.
I can go up to C plus B minus if we spend the next 10 minutes arguing about it. But like, he gives great evasion for your other creatures, but your creatures need to be big enough.
How good would this card be if it had Trample? Oh my god.
You would definitely, I don't know, put
the only thing that's really
like,
that's really holding this card back, I think, is like the ability for it to be chump blocked. Because I think there's a lot of chump blockers, especially with like a mass in this set. But other than, I still think he's like a B though. Like he's one of the better 5-drops. This is kind of what you want to be doing on 5 in green, and he just gets better with Menace, and he just kind of like, sometimes he's just the Abyss. Like he's really hard. It's really hard for your opponent to line up a creature that can profitably block this, and it has to be one creature because of its ability. So I'm going to go with B, but I'm not going to argue with Alex for 10 minutes to change his mind.
would you... We could probably pick Bloom Hulk over this, right?
No, I'm not picking Bloom Hulk over this.
Okay.
Unless I have a lot of stuff to proliferate, I'm not picking Bloom Hulk over this.
Because, like, we don't have to spend the next 10 minutes, but I'm looking at Paradise Druid at our B-, and I'm looking at Challenger Troll, and I'm like, I'd probably pick Challenger Troll. Because, like, he's what you want to be doing in green.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what you want. That's your dinosaur. And, like, anything to buff him up just makes him so much better.
I know. Yeah, I like him a lot.
Stats are really good.
His stats are very solid.
I give it a B-, but it can go up to a B.
B or B- for Challenger Troll. Next up is...
Ooh, got Eternal
Ronus.
This is a bomb. It's a bomb.
It's a bomb. I think it's an A- bomb.
I said B+ or A-. But yeah, I'll go to A-.
I think the fact that it gives your creature... I mean, it doubles the power of all your creatures, which is not that relevant for 1 power creatures. But, I mean, it's more blockable. It's more blockable than Bontu, but it's a lot better when you're behind than Bontu, because you get to attack with Vigilance. And I think Ronus, the fact that he comes back later, if I deal with him, he comes back 3 turns later, his ability is probably just going to be better then.
Yeah.
Like, this ability is way better in the late game. Like, you still play him on turn 5 because he's huge and he gives you a good attack. But, like, when he comes back, your opponent's really going to be hurting.
Yeah, just put a couple counters on Mowu and then just play him out and you're just like, I win!
Okay.
But, like, it also gives Vigilance. It gives Vigilance.
A- for Ronus.
A-.
If you had Vigilance and Trample, this card would be an A.
A+, I would say.
A really dumb
if it gives Vigilance and Trample, A+.
Would it be better than Craterhoof Behemoth at that point? Probably. Well, in certain decks it would be.
No. Because the only way that you play Craterhoof is like in Elves, right? And that's like the number of creatures?
Ronus had haste. Then maybe.
Nissa who shakes the world.
So initially, when I was evaluated Nissa, I put her at B plus because I knew she was good, but I didn't know how good she was. However, after playing against Nissa, I think she's definitely at least an A minus. This card, when it comes down on turn 5, is just, or earlier, is just such a beating. It just puts so much power on the board so fast, and don't underestimate her passive ability either. She comes down and
shakes the world.
She shakes the world. She makes a 3/3 land and untaps it and gives it haste. A lot of people don't realize that you
haste
untap
and
the land
vigilance,
and you give it haste and vigilance. And then next turn, you have so much mana.
Yeah, and you like the way that she set up, like
even
you
if you're
should
not
be playing a lot of
tapping
forests,
one of those forests and then untapping it and then tapping it again, you still have so much mana. You could do anything you want if you untap with Nissa.
I originally put it at an A minus. I'm gonna push it up to an A. I think it's on par with Sarkin in that respect. And like, if you get far enough ahead,
I think it might even go up to A. This card was just
like
such a beating to play against.
So just imagine the scenario: you plus Nissa a few times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, "Hey, evolutionary sage, go get all my forests."
Yeah. So when I played against this card, it was like, you just
I got to do that.
Oh wow!
I had 12/12.
That's
lands.
better. That's better with evolutionary sage. But I mean, she doesn't really need help. She just comes down. Like my opponent just played an RM5 and plussed her, and then plussed her again. Played a Bloom Hulk, and I'm like, oh my god, these are 4/4 lands now. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, she can take over a game pretty quickly. You need to have an answer fast.
Yeah,
and
I'll go up to A for Nissa just because this card's really
solid
good.
bomb.
Card is really good when you're at parity or even on the board. Everything.
Storm the Citadel. So basically, this reads: give all your creatures +2/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah, just not really
That's
what
how I read
you
it.
want to be doing.
I put it as a D minus.
I put it as a D. Like,
I don't care where it goes.
If you have a deck with like a lot of creatures and going wide, it could be okay. But I mean,
like,
the
it doesn't
trigger
get
is
trample.
destroying target artifact or enchantment. Defending player controls doesn't really do much. I think
basically
D minus is better than a D. I think I don't. It's hard to imagine putting this card in my deck.
Yeah. Thundering Ceratog. Mediocre. At best. I guess it's a 4/5 trample.
Green has a lot better 5-drops in this, otherwise it could be pretty solid.
I just gave it a D.
Give it a D? What did I give it?
Give it the D.
Whoa, buddy.
I don't know if you could.
I give it I'll give it a D.
What did you give it initially? C+?
I gave it a C initially, but like it just doesn't make the cut as much as I thought it would.
I would probably pick like,
because like Challenger Troll is way better than it, and there's other like cards I'd rather play in green that cost 5. So I'm gonna give it a D plus.
Like our next card, I would
because
probably
it could be
pick
a
over
good
right?
card in. Could be a good card in. I'm not picking that card over Ceratog.
Over Ceratog?
No, not ever.
Okay, I might have to reevaluate it at a
5/3
D.
hexproof is bad. I don't like this card at all.
It does trade down to a lot of things.
It does trade down to a lot of things.
I'm probably just overvaluing hexproof on this guy.
I gave Ward Scale Crocodile a D. Like maybe
A
sideboarding
D.
in against a lot of removal, but like it trades down against so much. It has no evasion, which is really good because I hate hexproof, especially hexproof plus evasion.
Yeah,
It's like the worst feeling.
Yep. I was at a D plus, but I mean I'll bring it down to a D. The 3 toughness is an issue. I just felt like since it has hexproof, just like suited up, but I don't know. I guess Ceratog is like a little bit better because it has the 5 toughness. So if you're like a little bit behind, it's like pretty good. Yeah, I can get on board with that. Arlen, voice of the pack. I really like this card.
I like this card.
I gave it an average rating.
More than I thought I would.
I gave it a C.
Actually, no, I didn't. I gave it a B minus.
B minus?
Yeah, I think she just all that
I'll be
power.
B-.
If you just have to protect her for like 1 or 2 turns, and you get so much power and toughness.
Actually,
and her ability is actually really relevant with her wolf. Like making that into a 4/3 is really good.
yeah, B minus is appropriate.
B minus for Arlen.
She's pretty awesome. Your guys get +1/+1 counters. Just proliferate away.
Let's try and
7/6.
I don't know how much longer I can stay, so let's try and
Again.
beat it up.
Alright, so I think I just put this at a D.
Primordial Worm.
Vanilla creatures aren't very...
I mean,
D+.
It's just huge. That's all it
Yeah.
is. But you're not going to play more than one of
What'd
this
you give?
effect, and not if you have bombs. I give it a D.
Alright, D+.
D.
No, wrong one. This one.
Plane-wide Celebration.
Plane-wide Celebration!
Now, this card has a lot of text and a lot of
Lots of
modes, and they're all pretty good.
But 7 mana.
But 7 mana, you
7
say?
manas.
It's worth 7 mana. Especially if you're ramping. This is exactly the kind of card you want in your ramp deck. Or your like late game green black control deck. Like it just gives you so much value.
It's very powerful if you're able to cast it.
But it costs 7, so it's very powerful, but it costs 7. That's why I said
C-.
B minus.
Oh, C minus. Not every green deck wants this. Not everyone's going to be ramping.
That's true.
Like, it's going to be hard to be able to play even more than 2 of these if you ever get the chance. Like,
alright, I'll go C plus then. Because I could definitely see picking Bloom Hulk over it.
I would definitely.
But I
pick
think
Bloom
it's a really powerful finisher.
If you're able to ramp, I will agree with you.
Okay.
But I don't think, at least most of the green decks that we've been talking about, they're not ramping.
No, they're not. Play in your ramp decks, it'll be good. Or your control deck.
It could
maybe.
potentially just win you the game.
Uh-huh.
Like 4
If
perma
you
cards.
proliferate 4 times in the right deck,
Gain 16.
you're gonna win. And next is Finale of Devastation.
Alright, here we go. This is like the beatdown of the century. So I guess this is going to be better in your ramp decks, of course. But out of the finalities, I think that this has the biggest ceiling. Just because,
I mean,
if you can
pay
get
it for X equals 10 or more, you just
win.
You kind of just win. But like that's not why you're playing these cards. You're not gonna get to 12 mana that often. I think this card is. I give this card a D plus. Like it could be a finisher, or it can go get a god. Otherwise, I'm not putting it in my deck. Not putting it in a deck that's not gonna get to 12 mana or get me some broken creature.
I think that I said A plus or A minus.
Wow.
I think that if you go and get any creature in your deck, the ability to be able to tutor it, or eventually in the late game, like
I don't think you're gonna want to pay 2 extra mana to tutor a creature.
I don't see why not. It gets you what you need.
It does get
Like
I guess it does get it from the graveyard, but like that's
It's saying like copy any
that's
creature
just
in your
like
deck.
having a raised dead at that point.
Like I would pick the white god over it.
Absolutely, I pick that god over it. I'd pick every single god over it. I'd probably pick every single planeswalker over it, except for maybe Karn.
Every single planeswalker?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. I think that this card is pretty powerful. I agree on the Karn thing. Karn's pretty bad.
I guess we're just gonna have to agree to disagree. 'Cause I think you have way too much of a best case scenario mentality with this card.
I think more often than not, it's going to be better than like Citadel or Command the Dreadhorde.
No way.
All right. So
we're just gonna agree to disagree on this card. I think it's D plus. Alex, what do you think it is?
I'll go down to an A- just to err on the side of caution.
Holy crap!
I think this is a bomb, and like, yes, it can be dependent on your creature base, but like, if for example you don't get the creature base, you could just go into ramp, and like, I don't know. I think
you're not going to be ramping up to 12.
You definitely could be. So like, I guess the ceiling is high, but
I don't think you realize how many mana sources 12 is.
It's a bunch.
That's more. That's like at least 2/3 of your lands.
Alright, would it make you more happy if I just said it was a B?
That would make me more happy, but you'd still be wrong. But
All
we can
right.
move on.
Comment down below what you think.
Alright, and that